it like having all this happen now? It's a strange year for these things to happen, but it's great stuff.
It's so many things at once. It's like kind of helps counterbalance just like the intensity of just this year. It's like there's just so much good things happening. So it's kind of bittersweet, but it's really awesome at the same time.
What did it mean to you to get this nomination? How did you find out? Did you expect this at all? Obviously, you knew you did great work.
Um, I wasn't expecting it, but I had submitted into four different categories. Like there was a main title category, original dramatic score, limited series, and this documentary series. So I was hoping for one. And this is the one. And then what's really cool about this category is it's existed for like 2 years. And it's created more opportunity for women because historically women have, worked on more documentaries. And so it gave a space for women, which is great because there's 3 women that are nominated in this category, and that's historic in general
Awesome.
for Emmy nominations as far as I go.
Congrats on
So,
that. How many of these women do you know? Have you had a chance to talk about that and share and kind of revel in that, the glory?
so I've met Laura Cartman, yes. And then, what's her name? Oh, Pinar Toprak, I think.
Uh-huh.
I have yet to really chat with her, but she's awesome, and I've loved the work she's done. And yeah, it's pretty inspiring and very exciting time for. It was a historic, like the statistics for who was nominated this year, just like across the board in all the different categories. It was like very diverse, gender-wise, from different people, different ethnicities, cultures, backgrounds. It was like, it's time.
Yeah,
Which
and
is
also
really great. Yeah.
and making ground also as a person of color in this category and a woman of color in this category is a special and unique thing too, that I'm sure you feel the beauty of.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting feeling, it's like, it's really cool. But at the same time, it's like, oh man, there's so much work to be done. And I just can't wait to make more space for this. I just can't wait for it all to be normalized. I'm like just such an idealist. I just like can't wait for it to uplift, to be able to have just more voices, more people of color in these categories in general. And so, yeah, I mean, through this nomination, it's, there's been a lot of PR, a lot of press, and a lot of like POC, female composers have reached out to me, and I'm just like so happy that I'm very accessible, and I'm happy to do like mentorship and stuff like that. So I'm just like, I'm happy to help fast track these young ladies
Yeah.
to kind of just like be the next generation of composers or producers, musicians, X, Y, and Z. So
Yeah, what's it like to be in that place already? Because you're still relatively young, obviously, and you're already.
I know. I mean, whatever I can do to help, so it's a weird position to be in because I'm just getting started in a lot of ways, but I do recognize I'm in a place of privilege too. So I have the ability to hire people at this time, and my studio and my teams are very diverse. Everyone's working virtually, but I'm just like really happy to be in a position where I'm just like able to like bring up more people of color, men and women, just in the studio space that would not have that opportunity otherwise.
For those that don't know, how much work to get to this place you're in right now? You've done some great projects. You obviously, from what I've seen and heard, you're a very talented person that was doing this at a young age. How much work to be where you are now? This didn't happen overnight.
No, I would say it was like a solid 10 years. So the moment I graduated, Vassar College, music composition major, flew to LA. That was in 2010, and now it's 2020. So this was kind of like the big breakout year. And it was like a slightly meandering path, but the focus was always music. And so the initial onset was like performance music. I'm still playing with my band, The Anti-Job. We have a new album coming out really soon.
What's it like for you when you're in the thick of things and composing?
I mean, at the end of the day, I get to write music for a living, so it's only so torturous, but it's pretty great. You just have like creative conversations at the beginning with the studio and the directors, producers, and then you're kind of just off running. And I've been in a really fortunate position that people are, hiring me for me being me as like the artist, my sensibilities, the style of music that I've been creating and what I like to do. So I'm just really happy that I haven't had to be shoved in a box for a lot of these projects, which is really cool. Especially like with Home, they were just like, they're just like keep pushing into like the songwriter sensibility, just go for it. And there's like a lot of really cool textures using my voice and kind of using like band instrumentation for the score. So and same with working with like Lena Waithe on Twenties or like Ava Duvernay on Cherish Today. It's like I got to play guitar and I got to just like make weird bouncy music. And they were totally cool with it. And I feel like I'm kind of like, I'm able to create a new sonic palette that is film music. It's like, doesn't feel cliche in any way, which is really nice.
That's so cool. And such a diverse kind of bunch of projects. Everything's very different from and that's such a unique experience and must be, creatively exciting for you as a composer.
Yeah, it's very fulfilling. I feel like with band music, you kind of have to stay in a certain pocket and be like this specific vibe and maybe change like every decade or something. But with like film music, you can just like go crazy. And I feel like my musical spirit was always kind of just like experimental and just dabbling in different types of sounds and textures. And I'm just really happy that, film score kind of lends itself to that. And so it like really works for me in the way I think.
Yeah, and talk about this more about Home in particular that you're nominated for and how special a project that was and how you approached that.
Yeah, so that one was really cool because so a lot of the scenes, they don't have very much dialogue. So the creatives were like, just go for it, just have fun. And so there's probably like 17 score cues for a half-hour episode. And yeah, like each cue can definitely stand on its own as its own song for an album. And I feel like, they kept pushing me in that direction to be like, yeah, just keep pushing this cue. Like, just go ahead and just like, as if you're making an album. It's like, once I kind of had that agenda, I was like, put me in a different frame of mind. It's like, It wasn't a composer executing a brief or like following any sort of temp music or anything like that. It was more like, just be an artist, just have fun. And so I feel like the fact that there's like, you have Apple TV and you have Apple Music, they intended to release a soundtrack and they did with all the other episodes. And then I have a standalone soundtrack for my episode, which is really cool.
Yeah. And it stands alone as a great record. I love it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Really cool.
And so, yeah, I feel like they just knew that they would love to have a kind of companion to the series, like having the soundtrack. So I feel like they were like, yeah, just keep pushing in that direction. And so I feel like that's where Home was really unique in that way, where it was just like, basically just make like an experimental like indie folk album and just like have fun. And I was like, yeah. And so it became kind of ambitious at certain points because I was like, now that you're in kind of in like the songwriter band state of mind, you get kind of self-conscious about certain choices. And I played all the instruments on the score except for drums and strings, like the violin. So it was very mumuch like kind of like a bedroom pop vibe.
Yeah.
Just kind of just like pulling everything together and just playing bass, playing keyboard, playing synths, and it was so much fun. And yeah, it was awesome.
And then that beautiful instrument that you have also with your voice to be able to add.
Yes. Yeah, having voice as a texture in score is so cool. I love the way Labyrinth does it for Euphoria. I think it's like, it's such a cool sound. I feel like the human voice is just like, it gives a score just like this next level of just like presence that's like beyond.
You talk about what you're working on now or any other things you can tell me about that are
Yes, exactly. So there's a lot of things I'm working on, but what I can share is I just finished working on Love in the Time of Corona. It's a television series for Freeform and it's coming out this weekend on Hulu and Freeform. So
nice.
I'm excited. Yeah, they shot that during COVID and they followed all the rules and the directors were like in their cars, like out front, like filming, and they had the actors, the way they cast it.
Right.
The actors were quarantining with themselves already. And so it was pretty incredible. It's very authentic.
I bet.
It's like a mixture of iPhone camera and like Red camera. It's pretty,
it's
seamless. It feels like a real show. It's like, you can't believe they were shooting outside a window.
Very cool. Yeah, I've heard a lot about that. So that's really cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And talk about the band, because that's how I was first kind of turned on. Yes. I was a fan a while ago. So have that going, and what can you tell me about what's next?
Great. I'm so, I wish we could perform live, but we probably should start doing like Twitch or like Zoom performances or something. But we have like an EP actually like ready to go, and I just want to release it this year. It's been a lot just juggling like a lot of the PR for the Emmy nomination,
Sure,
and just
sure.
trying to find the perfect timing to like release like the band's album. And in my head, I'm like, what about at the same time? But my
What?
publicist is like, it's like two different lanes. So I was like, okay, I guess so.
Right,
Um,
right.
so yeah, I'm so excited to share it. It's like a beautiful record, and it kind of pushes us in another direction. It feels like an anti-job record, and I think people will be really, really happy with it. And that should be, there's no set release date, but it's done. It's in the can. We just need to like, just get it out.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to that, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You can put into words what you would mean to you to win an Emmy for this project, and have you let yourself go to that place?
Yeah, I mean, if I were to win, it's kind of like insane. I feel like I'm just getting started. So I feel like that's like I would set my bar so high. It's like, where do I go? No,
Yeah.
but if yeah, winning, it's like if it's multifaceted. So it's like it would be like the first African American female to win in a primetime Emmy score category, like not just this specific category, just like any primetime
Wow.
score category. So that would be insane. And yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just really important to just talk about, you know, the state of Hollywood and statistics, and just kind of keep challenging the status quo and getting more, you know, POC individuals and people from all different backgrounds, just like in these roles, whether even outside of music, just like cinematographer, editors, post-production people, in front of the camera,
Sure.
behind the camera. I really look forward to, you know, the productions and what we're seeing on screen like reflect like what America looks like and what we see day to day, and it feels so natural and comfortable. So I mean, yeah, a win is like insane. But yeah, I think definitely I'll just, you know, take that platform and the publicity, the press or whatever, just to kind of just continue to have these conversations about, you know, just like pushing the needle to like incorporate more diverse voices.
Thank you for watching. If you want more extra, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll never miss a video.